Greetings to you out there and welcome to Make Love Go Viral. So one of the beautiful things that happens in the seminary system is the level of charity, that flows from the hearts of the seminarians. You get to understand that life is not just about you, that is about everybody else. Like your life has to have a positive impact. Like you help out wherever you can, you make sacrifices where necessary. Like you get this thing as a form of brain tattoo, so that if you flow with the system, you grow in charity. And one of the areas where this really shows is in the area of health, caring for the sick. I don't just mean praying for them or visiting them, but I'm talking with particular reference to blood donation, blood transfusion. So what happens is when somebody is sick, and probably they are poor, they don't have enough money to pay for the blood bank services, and they would need some pints of blood. What they would do would be to go to the seminary, talk to the seminary authority, whether it's a priest or the auxiliary. They do the necessary consultations, and then they would come to the chapel or the refectory, wherever the announcement will be made, to announce that somebody's in the hospital, tell the seminarians the blood type, and those who are compatible, and would want to save a life should register with either the infirmarian or the priest in charge or whoever they are told to register with. And every single time you would always get enough people to save that life. It's like a no-brainer in the seminary, like it's a normal thing that the seminarians do. I'm not saying storm the seminary, I'm just telling you a story. So one of those days when we were in PJP, Pope John Paul II Major Seminary, we were in the chapel in the afternoon after the afternoon prayer. So Father Anthony Okafor, the bossa then, he made an announcement. Somebody was sick in the hospital and the blood type happened to match mine. And I was looking at myself like, damn, like I really wish to help out this sick person. I don't know who he is or who she is. Like, this is normal thing that we do. But see, I look myself as a leper like this. If I carry blood, go give person, which one I can't take leave. And matter of fact, I was a very sickly person in the seminary, that at a point I was really afraid of going through with the seminary training, because I was trying to pry into the future. I would always remain a bachelor, no wife, no kids, and being this sickly, who's going to take care of you, and how are you going to be able to, measure up to expectations in terms of pastoral service? Like, how are you going to carry out your priestly functions? So I tried to have as much faith as I could, but these things were like staring at me. So I passed through hard times in the seminary. It was really difficult to make that choice to continue, because I really, really wanted to be a priest. I just kept praying God to, make me strong and take away these illnesses from me, so that I could, focus on my education and training for the priesthood. So I was coming down the stairs, one of the staircases at the end of the building, and I saw Father Anthony Okafor. He was with pen and paper taking down the names of people who wanted to go donate blood to the individual. They needed like 6 people or something like that, because the number of people would be dependent on the quantity of blood that they wanted donated. So he just saw me coming down. I was like, hey, bro, I got... In my mind, I'd be like, oh, we think carry me come follow this staircase. Meanwhile, I was already struggling within me whether to do this or not to this. Like, I really wanted to, but the other part of me was like, if you go donate blood, like, what are you going to live on? So I said, yeah, I would want to go. So he took down my name and we went to the hospital. Now, when you get to the hospital, they screen your blood for different infections and diseases and all of that. We went to the HIV section. That one was so fast. Before they test you, they would do some kind of counseling, just in case you turn out positive. And then we went to the hepatitis section and some other sections like that. So we went on to go to the lab where our blood would be taken. And we went in there. We were sitting on a bench. So somebody came out and was calling our names. So what it did was, if you were called, you would go into the lab and your blood would be taken. So they called the first person, called the second person. I was the third. They skipped me. Called the fourth, called the fifth, and skipped the sixth person. So there were 2 of us. And I was sitting there thinking, like, maybe they will still come out to call us. Maybe there is something wrong with us. Like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Like, what is going on right now? So at the point somebody came out and called Uche Asogwa, I'm like, yeah, I'm the one. Called the other guy's name. He raised his hand to show he was the one. And they motioned us into the consulting room, the doctor's office or something like that. So he offered us seats. We sat down and he said something like, you noticed you were not called while others were being called. I said, yeah, that was obvious. We were not called. He said, there is something wrong with your blood. In my mind, I'm like, oh God, what? So he told the other guy what the problem was. Then he turned to me and he said, you have hepatitis C. Then he looked at his papers and looked at me and said, why hepatitis C? So in my mind, I'm like, are you being serious right now? Like, did I have to choose the strain or variety or type of hepatitis that I was going to have? Like, seriously? It was going on in my mind, but I was still listening to him and I didn't know what to tell him. And there is an information they would give you. At least tell this joke that I heard a lot in church when I shared this experience with them, and I've shared this experience a lot because of what I've learned, because of what I learned from the experience. We look at elderly people like they should be wise people. You understand? And the reason we do this is because they have had the time and the opportunity to go through all kinds of experiences. And as humans, we learn from the experiences that we have, whether they are experiences we would never want to remember or experiences we would relish for a lifetime. All these things make us who we are. So there's this joke that I heard. And the guy was saying, there are certain things, information or things that will happen to you, or information that will hit you, and your brain would need some time to process it. So he told this joke. I never remember the comedian, but he told this joke about the different types of slaps that exist. So he said, you get this kind of slap where we say, person will slap you, wham, you just turn without even asking any questions. You slap back like boom. Then the second type, somebody will slap you. Right? I think he called that explanatory slap or something like that. You go can't leave person will slap you. Go they explain, give another person. Say, nah, guy, wait I do this guy now. She be na day they slap me like this. Why they treat me like this now? Then the third type will be say, that one now wasn't. Say if they slap you, zawam. You don't slap back. You not even explain, give person. You go just turn jeje, go enter house. You go enter bed, you go sleep. Now when you wake up the following morning, you go meet your friend, maybe like say Emeka, how far? They say, Shebi, you there for junction yesterday where me and that guy been there argue. You go tell you, say he did there. You go ask him, say nothing. Where that guy do me na slap? He slap me, I been waiting be that. So it took me some time to process that. I didn't understand it till I got to the hostel, sat down on my bed. The whole thing that he said was coming back to me. And believe me, at that point, I started feeling like I was sick. Then some group of doctors in a few days' time came to the seminary, and I went to them, explained to them what happened, how my results turned out positive, that I had hepatitis, and they were giving me some counseling, telling me what to eat, what to avoid, this and that. In my mind, I'm like, damn, at this age? So I called Father David Omega. He was very close to my family. A blessed memory, God rest his soul. And I told him what I was going through, like he should remember me in his masses, called some of the priests, talked with them, friends of mine, to pray from me, like I really needed a miracle. I didn't want to suffer that, like I didn't want it to stay with me. And he told me something, Father David. He said that he said, you went to the hospital to donate blood. That thing you did was like going to share your life with someone. And he reminded me of Leviticus 17:11, where it is written that the life of everything that has flesh is in the blood. So that was some kind of consolation for me. I felt like I was doing good, not like I was doing anything bad. And then it occurred to me that sometimes this is the lesson that I learned, that when we do things for people, we may think that we are doing it for them. But at the end of the day, we are doing these things for us. That does not mean that when we do things for people, we should expect things in return, or we should do them because we know we are going to benefit from them. We do them because they are good, but these things always have a way of coming back to us. Then I asked myself, if I had not gone to do this, how would I have known that I had hepatitis? I want you to think about that. Let me leave you with that thought. Probably someday I'll complete the story for you. And until then, keep spreading love. That is the way to live. Keep making love go viral.